All right, welcome on in. It's another opportunity to catch up with some members of the Utah State Athletic Department. And who better to chat with than the head coach of the Utah State football team, Gary Andersen. Coach, it's some weird times we're dealing with right now. How you holding in up there?
Oh, we're doing good. Grinding through it every day and just waiting to see what landscape we're living with on this day. But, I think we got through the semester academically, so our grades are scheduled to be done here in the next couple of days so we can evaluate those. I think it's going to be another not good semester for our kids, but a great semester. So we're with the kids every week trying to go through virtual meetings. We've got a special teams meeting going on right now, offense, defense meetings going on as the day goes on, and doing a great job with those individual meetings and the unit meetings. And so our kids are really have grasped onto that well. Hopefully it doesn't have to continue much longer, but that's where we're at today. So, again, I'm proud of the coaches, the way it went through academically. I thought, again, the university as a whole through the semester of online classes were fantastic in communication and allowing our kids to be able to get some success. And I thought our kids worked hard, so it was good.
A lot of personal accountability here when you're away from the weight room by yourself, when you're away from the classroom all by yourself, and overall you feel like guys are handling themselves pretty well?
Well, I think they're doing what they can, but that's going to be the big question mark when they walk back in here. We can put parameters on them and ask them to be this. We have 10 gassers when they walk back in here. We want to be able to run. I believe our kids will be able to do that. But it's, not to change direction as much as you would like, and the ability to get coached by a strength coach, because football is a game of speed, and that's going to be a big part of it. And everybody's up against the same thing. We can all say that, but what you worry about the most is just the ability to maintain strength and then have to be able to move your body at such a fast and quick level when you get back. Injuries become a big concern, and that's going to be, it's much like when a young man comes off a mission. These kids have been doing some have had an opportunity to be in the weight room the whole time. Some have had an opportunity to, have a squat rack and a bench and a lot of weight to move around or do that. Others have had some bands and some medicine balls to do some things, and others have had nothing. So it's going to be a transition rolling back into it, but it is an accountability factor. I know this, everybody can run. I know this, everybody can get out of past 10 gassers. So I think those things are important. But, we can, our kids have done a good, there's competitions out there. There's push-up competitions. There's this, they're challenging each other. And so it's fun to watch those things go on. But, we're going to need some time, and everybody's going to need some time when we get back. And I just hope those parameters are set the right way. Jumping back and playing football in 4 weeks that's obscene to me, but if that's what we have to do, then we'll do it.
I have seen that magic number of, I don't know if it's a magic number or not, but 6 weeks. Is that too little is that enough to get back and if needs be to start a season?
Well, a lot of these things you're looking at are 6 weeks, then plus 2 weeks to get ready to go into camp, right?
Okay.
So, that's an 8-week schedule, and that's the one that I've seen the most. There may be some out there for 6 weeks, and like I said earlier, I've heard 4 weeks. To me, 4 weeks is not an option. But again, I won't make that decision. The 6-week barrier, if it's just truly 6 weeks, I think that's a tough one too. But the ones that I've seen that are very, very good, and I think very realistic to be able to have strength coaches buy into it, trainers buy into it, and coaches and players buy into it. It's a 6-week schedule, but it's truly, it's more like an 8-week situation by the time the kids they get here and there's actually a kickoff. And I like that. I think that's where the Mountain West was, we've talked about that a lot, and I think our coaches are all very knowledgeable guys. And that's all I really know is the phone calls I make, and we talk about the Mountain West, but it seems to be, where coaches, trainers, doctors, strength guys are at least, can come to terms with that and say, hey, I think we can make this work.
And I know that, there's a million different alternatives on how the season could go and split schedule, spring, all that other stuff. Do you try to keep up to speed on all that stuff, or are you just like, hey, just let me know when I need to play and we'll be ready?
Yeah, much like when we return. I know I'm not going to make any of those decisions. I won't make that decision either. But I do, our coaches are game planning as we're going to play all the games. And the one thing that this has done is, we've got a pile of game plans out there that these coaches have put together off of last year's tapes and off of last year's film and the coaching staffs that are in place. So, do I think it's going to be different? Again, it doesn't really matter what I think. It's we'll be ready to go with whatever we're presented with. I think we all would be hopeful of playing a whole season, but in front of playing a whole season is, in my opinion, making sure that we allow young men to be prepared to play a whole season. And so the product is as good a product as it possibly can be. And I know there's a lot of stressors out there, and there's a lot of things going on. But you know me well enough, Scotty. I'm going to put kids first. And so, you know, if that becomes a problem for people to be able to deal with, then that's too bad. I'm going to put kids first.
What has recruiting been like in this new world we're living in?
Very different, you know. And again, I think the transition has been our film guys, Bill Guerin and his crew have been fantastic, pumping out information and trying to be different, virtual tours throughout campus. You know, some different things that we haven't had created in the past, and we've done that. So there's some positive things that have come out to be able to get information to kids. The biggest thing is, you know, there's more FaceTime, you know, talks with parents and what have you. The big thing is just, you know, building relationships with the potential kids that can come now. And we had some grad transfers that we're interested in, and those grad transfers can't get on campus. We've had some missionaries that have come home early that, you know, we haven't had the opportunity to get face-to-face with at this point. And so those are the things that I think are the hardest right now for myself and for our staff, and quite frankly, for those return missionaries and for those transfer kids. We had them up here on campus. You know as well as I, coming up and seeing Cache Valley this time of the year, seeing Utah State. You know, it's not the magic that we have personally as coaches. It's the magic that Cache Valley has. It's the magic that Utah State has. And we do our best, but we can't present that through a screen nearly as well as we can if they're here on campus with us. So that's been highly abnormal. Now talking about the classes for the future, just it's different, you know, a little bit for those juniors. Again, a lot of those juniors come through and they get on campus. That hasn't happened. We've already talked about the things we're trying to do to present our campus to them. I think we can make up that ground. That doesn't worry me nearly as much because everybody's in that same situation. But the immediacy of trying to get a couple transfer kids and say, hey, that's where I want to be. And then those missionary kids settled into just kind of knowing who we are has been the biggest challenge.
Yeah, because I've heard you say a bunch of times, if I get a kid up on campus and I can show him this community and our facilities, and I can show him, you know, what this community has to offer, I feel like I can close them more often than not. And not to have that opportunity, I got to imagine, is difficult for you.
No, it is. It's we all know how special this place is, again, when you're here. And, you know, we pride ourselves on saying that we are a Power 5 program. You know, we don't have that tag next to our name, and we need to be able to show people that by what we do academically, by what we do from a nutritional standpoint, by the opportunities that we present our kids to have. And I think it's a huge part of who we are, and will continue to be a huge part of who we are, and it needs to be. And to be able to show those, the training room, and be able to show that, you know, we have all the people we have in there, yes, but the facility, yes, the weight room, and so on and so forth. An RBeyond football program is so important to present to people, which is, you know, it's not impossible, but it's much more difficult to show people when, you know, you're doing it, all those things again on the screen. So, and I really do believe everybody's doing that. We'll have to make it up during the season. And whenever we're playing or whatever we're doing during the time in the fall, we'll have to make up that ground recruiting wise, which we can make up. I believe we can make up that ground quickly and get ourselves where we need to be. It's just the immediacy of those guys you want now in this year's program.
You know, I know everybody's in the same boat, so it's not like it's a disadvantage for you individually because everybody's dealing with it. But how much evaluation goes on during those summer camps, like, you know, an all poly camp or your own camps that you have up there at Utah State, not being able to get some eyes on some kids during the summer? How much does that hurt?
It's a big deal. You know, just imagine, and we all know what happens to that, you know, 16, 17-year-old, how they grow, how they progress, how they develop, how they mature in basically a year since we've seen them play football. And we may have seen them a little bit throughout the basketball or whatever in recruiting, but we missed out on a track season. We're going to miss out on a summer evaluation. And then hopefully we get to see them again back in the fall. And if they do play football. So that evaluation that we're able to get through camps is so important. And that's a two-way street. It's valuable for us. Absolutely. Yes, it is. We can see the growth. We can see them move. We can see them on, you know, up close and personal. We can see how they handle coaching. But on the other side of that, kids see us too in a coaching scenario, in a coaching situation, and they're going to walk away from that, whether it's a 2-hour camp or whether it's a 3-day camp. They're going to walk out of that and say, you know what, that's a coach I think I'd be comfortable playing for. whether that's a position coach, a coordinator, a head coach, or whoever it may be. And so just as important that is for us as coaches, I think it flips over. It's just that is very, very important for the student athletes also to evaluate us and see that's who if that's who they really want to be around. Because, personality sometimes in coaches, they do this wonderful talking job sometimes in recruiting, and they get out on the field and they can feel a different person. So I think it's important to make sure that, our kids can have that opportunity if it's there. Now we're going to miss that this year again, so we all got to get through it.
And then you worry about, as if a high school football season is in play here, and if they're able to play at that level too. And I mean, that's the interesting thing about what we're dealing with is all the dominoes that could fall in this thing. I mean, if you can't evaluate a kid during a senior year or junior year actually playing the game of football, I mean, that really sets things back a ways.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And those are things that we just have to be prepared to adjust to and be able to deal with. Is it unfortunate? Heck yeah. I mean, I still sit back and I think those kids' spring sports and, here at Utah State in college and in high school, what they've missed out. And it's tough, and does that happen now again in football? I don't know. We'll see where that goes and as we go through time. But, the sheer recruiting evaluation process, it definitely takes a hit in those scenarios. The one thing you can see is you can be creative. You can talk to people about, putting out a video. And we can't call and say, hey, we want to see you do this and that and this. Go over here and do that drill. But we can sure talk to the young men again about educating them. And we really, I think our staff has done a great job with this, saying, now, listen, you've got to go out there and show people, not just us, but you got to go out there and show people who you are now. And that's an important part of this process. So here's some ideas on how you can do it and sit where you're going to be. And these opportunities to show yourself and not sell yourself in that situation, but kind of show what you've done. Be proud of the progress that you've made as a student athlete and your work habits, and you've gotten better in this area or that area. And so kids can be, a little bit aggressive on how they're going to present themselves also.
Can players like, let's say, for example, Henry Colombi, can he get together with individual, the quarterbacks or wide receivers and put together Zoom meetings on his own, kind of like him creating his own summer workouts, when he needs to be a leader and take over a group? Can he help initiate stuff like that? Is that okay within the rules?
Absolutely. Yeah, he could do anything he wanted to like that. I think right now, having any more meetings than Coach Reeder has been having would be overkill. Bodie is extremely enthusiastic and excited to get this offense to put in, and I think they've done a great job. But yes, Henry could organize that, and Henry and the other quarterbacks, and we've had some good leadership that have come out of this from different spots, from offensive linemen, some kids on the defensive side of the ball, on just making sure that every young man is on that Zoom call and that we have 100% attendance every single time we do that, whether it's the D-line, the corners, the offense meeting as a whole. I walked in this morning and there's a kickoff meeting that Frank's running, and all the kids involved potentially on the kickoff team were on that call, and Coach Reeder's got a quarterback meeting going at the exact same time. So it's busy up here. They're going through it, and I think the best thing is our kids have really, first of all, those were exciting and they were different. And then you stabilize, and it becomes kind of the same as. But our kids have dealt with the repetition of those meetings very well, in which we all know, football is an extremely competitive sport, but it's also a very, very repetitive sport. So handling that and be able to handle it, I think that helps kids mature, understand that's a little bit of a grind to continually get into those meetings every single week and get on your phone and do the things that they're doing. Big grind, no, but it is consistency, I think, is good. But the repetition is a positive. And, we basically on offense, they've got basically 4 installs that they've gone through. They hit those 4 installs and they go backwards and they go again back to 1 and they build up to 4 and go back and forth. And it's good with a few tweaks in there. And defensively, they continue to progress with just the basics, the fundamentals. Maybe some of the best things that we've done as we go through here is just, going back and taking a step back, and so some life skills, some situations that possibly you could be going through and talking to the kids about other things than football. And then just letting them see each other's faces and laugh. Well, that's the best part of those meetings.
You had some guys dealing with some injury issues last year that, rehab. Are you able to keep some guys on campus and still keep some eyes on them in terms of that, or is pretty much everybody gone on their own at this point?
Well, we've had some kids that have stayed, and our lowest number of kids that were actually in Logan was around 20. That's creeped up to around 30 now, and I think it's going to continue to grow for a lot of reasons. I think there's a few of those families that look at it and say, you know what a better place right now than
Yeah.
Cache Valley for my kid. And he can come back here and get involved, and there's places where they can go lift and exercise and do the things that they're doing. And we don't have at this point now. Hopefully that continues to move forward as far as when we get back and we get stabilized here in the month of June. We don't have as many food opportunities for them as we have obviously when they're during the school year, and that's normal during this 3-week stint that we go through summer. But they do have supplements here. Strength coaches can be involved with them, not in lifting, but they can sure obviously give them that workout that they have through their phone, and then to generate it, and the kids can go work out, and then they can get together, and if they opt to go do some things, then get together, they can get together and do those things. So our numbers continue to grow getting back. And I think another thing on that is parents are kind of saying, you know what, it's time for you to go. Bye-bye. Get out.
I'm saying that with my own kids, and they're not in college yet. So.
I hear you.
Goes. Had it been 3 or 4 months ago, and I would have asked you if you've seen everything, you probably would have said, yeah, I think there's nothing I haven't seen. But this is throwing everybody for a loop, is it not?
Yeah, it really has. It's I don't know. I sit back and I just about once a week I catch myself. I'm like, okay, now we just got done with the second practice of spring. This was a crazy dream I had, and I'm going to wake up. It'll be Wednesday morning, and we're going to go out and evaluate the film or whatever day it was. So it's just been it's been unreal. But yeah, I think we got to look at it and say, hey, we can learn from it at the end. And it's a tragic situation for so many families, and disrupted so many things in so many different ways. But we got to continue to look at ourselves and say, hey, we got to grind through this and accept the unknown that's going to come with it, which there's been a ton of that. And maybe that's the hardest part, just not knowing what the whole virus is about, and the hard lessons and situations that come through with that as we continue to grow. And then just the unknown for kids. Kids don't, and people don't react that well of understanding that, okay, well, we don't know, you hear it, I've heard it a million times in the last couple months, Groundhog Day. Well, it's kind of true in a way. So it's been very different. But again, I'm really proud of our kids, the staff, again, our university as a whole, giving kids an opportunity to, I think, get what they could get out of it academically, which on our part, for our kids, I've asked personally, did you have a good experience academically? Did you feel like you got what you needed out of that class? And it was a resounding yes. So, my hat's off to those professors and the university as a whole.
Coach, always a pleasure to catch up with you. Hopefully when we talk again, we'll have better news and a little bit more of a schedule in place as to when things are going to kick off.
Yes, sir. Okay, take care of yourself, Scotty. It's good to see you. Go Aggies.